even in our videos, we have some great videos of us as kids that I still have.
I have never seen any videos.
You've never seen any videos?
I've never seen...
I probably have... I'd have to pull them up. At least a good hour and a half of footage combined of us as kids playing and stuff. Yeah. Now, what's interesting about it, there's ones of us dancing and fighting and having fun, playing, and you always seem to be in your own world or your own head. Julio, Jeremy, playing, he's part of the group. Everybody's playing, dancing, doing their thing. You're doing your thing, but you're a foot back from everyone, and you're more visual. You're taking it in. You're more quiet. I watch you. You're more. It feels like you're more in tune with what's going on in the room, but you're one of the kids, right? So it's interesting to watch that as knowing who you are and what you become, but also see that personality in you at a young age. It seemed like back then you were wiser than your young self in the video.
Maybe. I think also it has to do with maybe the way my brain was just kind of processing everything that was going on. For me, I've come to note about myself attention. I have a very weird relationship with attention. Do
you like it or do you dislike it?
I don't know.
You don't know yet?
I don't.
Still.
For me...
Because you're kind of dealing with both of it, right?
I'm dealing with both. Like, okay, excessive praise and, like, fawning behavior. That puts me in fight or flight. I think we know why.
Sure.
So that's kind of got me wired. If somebody,
it's red flags to you.
It's very red. Those red flags are on fire.
It really hurts your relationships or your friendships.
It can. It can. The relationships that I've had that actually, went places were with people who knew how to approach me kind of more like a cat.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Don't
run up on a cat.
Don't run up on a cat.
No loud noises.
No loud noises. Don't. The more excess, the more off I am. I also think that has to do with I pick up on too much, and the more I get pulled into something, and the more overstimulated, I guess you could say, the harder it is for me to parse what's what. So for me, I kind of stay a bit back. It's not necessarily that I have a hard time. Like there's a part of me that I accentuate to socialize.
Sure.
And I brought it out a lot. I bring it out a lot all the time. It's not a fake me. It's just like, this is...
social you.
This is the me that I'm turning up the volume with. One of the things I caught with myself was something that I noticed in a couple of my cousins and some of their kids. I'm like, y'all are doing the same thing. I could see it. You turn up the volume on one aspect of yourself, and then when people start to go away, we adjust, and we go over here. And so for me... if I can keep that going, I'm okay. But there's only so much.
Yeah, you get burned out.
There's only so much. So it's like, all right, when I'm socializing, it's like, who do you get? Okay, here comes the slick, kooky, crazy gay wizard, and he's sassy, and he's got a lot of insightful things to say, but he's also very, he tries to be very funny. I think I'm funny, and so that goes and goes and goes.
Sure.
But eventually, it's kind of like,
I've had enough.
I've been leaning on that arm for too long. It's falling asleep, and now I have to go into. I gotta be who I am.
When no one's watching.
When no one's watching, or when I'm around people who are there too, who get it.
Sure.
Like I said,
and that's rare.
Right. Well,
very hard to find.
I think again, you could see it's like with your son.
Sure.
With Jordan, I was kind of like, oh, he's about to pull my mask off, because he knows exactly. He knows exactly what not because I needed a mask.
Right.
But when you are neurodivergent, you mask.
100%.
And you do it to function. My relationship with attention has been very much like the people that I like are the people who are either neutrally inquisitive like you, or people who tend to be more. I don't want to say
isolated, maybe.
It doesn't have to necessarily be
socially isolated. Maybe.
Socially.
Like if
people who can be
people
who can contemplate, where the attention isn't like we can talk about something, but it's like the best conversations I have and where I have the most energy and I'm feeling totally chill and I'm not overstimulated. My spiritual senses are not out of control. Are when we're talking about this over here.
Yeah,
we could talk about you and me.
Right.
The focus is over here. We're looking at this and talking to each other, and I'm wondering, maybe you've probably had that with your son too.
100%.
Where it's like, look, the focus is not on you, but I'm
Right.
getting to know you because we're info dumping over here.
Right.
That to me is the best.
You learn a lot from that.
When it's like head on.
Yes.
Like.
Right. It
Okay.
feels like a test when it's head on.
Yeah.
And therefore you were trying to make sure you do it right. You know. Whereas the other way is more of a natural. Like, let me see how you are naturally in this setting.
It's I call it the bonfire experience. You know, and I think that also just comes from being a man. I'm not saying women don't have this either, and I get into a gender thing, but I do think for men, there is kind of a sort of I don't know, the neural Wi-Fi that kind of does that.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's like, because, you know, it's like the old saying, guys don't talk about their feelings. But you get a bunch of guys looking at a fire, they're all talking to each other, but the energy's going into the fire.
100%.
That, I think, is the kind of stuff that I like. And the people that can do that, I like. It's the people who want, like, the head-on, let me just kind of...
Right.
Like...
and that makes it tough, because, like you said, you got to be on. You got to portray something, whether it's professional image, fun image, whatever it is. Sometimes you just want to clock out.
Yeah.
I get that, for sure. Yeah, it's tough because the work you do, too, is, even though there's different stories and settings and people that arise, it could probably seem repetitive in some ways, huh?
The relationship I have with readings is always going to be on a case-by-case basis. Repetition is a problem. If a person is coming back for readings every day, I think that when people put themselves out there as caseworkers, they're predators. And I think when people go out looking for caseworkers, they're misled. Mm. And so for me, the biggest challenge is like, the repetitiveness for me isn't an issue. You know, if I have 3 relationship readings and then 2, you know, small business readings, I'm not going to be like, God, this is all I talk about. That's not really the issue. I don't mind that kind of stuff. It's that I can't get pulled in.
Right.
You really don't want me to be a fly on the wall. You don't want me to be a presence in the situation. When you want me to come in and be your business coach.
Yeah, they kind of want you to be a therapist as well.
Or your marriage counselor.
Yeah.
That's where we are making a problem. And I've had people do that.
Yeah, that's hard.
I've had people do that. You know, they want you to be there, play by play. Mm-hmm. And it's like...
And it could be hard if you do, like you say, build a relationship with some of these people over time. You know, maybe you feel strongly about them in a even if it is professional setting, just like, hey, this is a good person. Mm-hmm. I have their best interest in mind. So it might be hard sometimes to either deliver information that they don't want to hear, or the information they just didn't feel satisfied with.
I do get I try to control it, but I do get invested sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I do get invested. But I've also had situations where I've been very traumatized.
Yeah.
By situations. There's one I'll talk about right now. Back in it was the end of 2019, going into 2020. There was this girl who basically, and I don't like to do medical readings, and I don't like to do. Run, don't walk from any astrologer or tarot reader that's pretending to be a doctor. Yeah. You know, I'm sorry.
It's all fake.
Like, you can't go there.
Or not fake, but it's got to be at least.
I've gotten impressions of things that I'm kind of like, okay, check this out, and it's true. You know, I've had it verified, but I think it's just risky business.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's just like you can't verify. And even if it is verifiable, let's say they were right, it's not probably 100%. Right, so it's
no, and how? What if the interpretation of it is correct, or if it's correct and yet at the same time it's leaving something out? You're not going to get complete answers.
Sure.
And if something is getting left out, or it's only showing up in this form, what's going on the other side? You know, we have a very unhealthy, again, religious relationship with these arts now in this community, because people have become dependent on it so much that they don't actually just kind of take it and go. Like, they want their hand held. And there's a lot of talk out there about spiritual bypassing, right? People who are not... They're kind of trying to use spirituality or magic or psychic arts or anything as a way to kind of fill all of the holes in what they lack.
Sure. Yeah.
You can't do it.
Yeah, that's tough.
You can't do it. Vitamin C isn't going to cover all the bases of every other vitamin you need.
Right.
You're just going to turn...
They just want a one take or one pill fixes all type of situation. Yeah, that makes it hard.
I had a girl, and I'll never forget this, who reached out to me and wanted a reading about her sick cat. And she was worried because the vet that she went to, in her story wasn't very good. And the cards were saying, take the cat to another vet, take the cat to an emergency vet. There's something wrong. I told her that. She twisted my reading and told me the cat died because she put the cat in a car and the cat died in the car. And it was my fault the cat died in the car. Now, I don't know why. I got nothing. But she went on a rampage. And for 2 months, I was convinced that my reading is the thing that killed this girl's cat. Till she came back and told me the rest of the story. And she left out leaving the cat, she left out all this other shit that was going on about how she was, handling it, the timing of it all. She told me she was so sorry for what she did to me. And she's so sorry she made me think that way. She was just so upset and so traumatized about the loss of her cat, which she probably was.
Right.
I would be.
Yeah. But to use you as kind of the scapegoat.
But to tell somebody else, and I never really figured, I still to this day never really figured out why she needed to do it that way, why it had to be. The cat needed to go to an emergency vet because the cat was already dying.
Mm-hmm.
It was a race against time. She told me that I killed the cat. She came back 2 months later to tell me, no, it wasn't you, and this is what's going on, and this is what really happened.
That'd be difficult.
I already went through it.
Yeah.
I already went through all of it.
And did you feel like it was your fault at the time?
I took her word for it.
Mm-hmm.
I took her word for it. Of course, I refunded her. I emailed her. I stayed up late at night, emailing back and forth, trying to figure out what was going on. It didn't. Nothing added up. But I was so mortified only to find out that wasn't the case at all.
Right. From
her own words. And I have everything saved because she was stalking me. Eventually I just couldn't take it anymore. And then eventually she started sending me all of these emails and getting me on it, DMing me on Instagram. I saved everything.
Wow.
Everything of this. It's okay. So that might have messed me up a little bit.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
When it comes to certain personality types that decided to come to this community. And
that's also, not only just the personality types in the community, but you offering a service, right, to them, and then feeling as if maybe that you are now wondering, would I do the right thing, even though she misled you. You got to wonder how many other people are capable of doing something like that.
I mean, it is one of those situations where it's kind of like you have, the best way I could describe it is it's like, okay, say somebody gets jumped,
mm-hmm.
You're probably going to be a lot more careful. Yeah. You're probably going to take a knife or a gun.
Right.
You're probably going to be a lot more guarded.
You're looking around a little more.
You're going to be looking around a little bit more.
Yeah.
You're going to really change how you look and breathe when you turn a corner. And honestly, a great deal of that is how I am when I psych myself up to make videos.
Yeah.
And that is an extreme example. But I've had other examples of people who take shit way too far.
Right.
I've never killed anything.
Right, yeah.
Apparently, but I've had people get crazy needy or crazy demanding. Sure. or it's like... And I think the way our brains as humans are is that we sometimes put everyone that's on the other side of the screen in one chair.
Sure.
So it's like every time I sit in front of the camera, I just sit in front of the computer, it's like they're out there.
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot of work to kind of deprogram myself from the people that really do have the sort of, again, the dysregulated kind of volatile, explosive, and even psychologically dangerous personalities. It's like, okay, they're there. I never had problems with trolls before. Like, they'd show up, but I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But that was sort of the end of 2019, beginning of 2020 was kind of like the influx of people who would just take things to places.
Wow.
Funny enough, that girl reached out to me again in 2023, and she was like thanking me for being so patient with her and sitting with her, and like, I was like,
difficult,
incredibly difficult. And since then, I've tried really hard to keep a very spacious distance. So when you talk about making friends and pulling people close,
I know exactly what you mean. I mean, it's hard to open the gates and let people in, and it's also, when you get older, you know, your priorities change. You know, you're not out partying, you're not out looking for just a fun time necessarily, and if you do, you want to be around people you trust. You know, and I think when we were younger, we'd be willing to go to a bar with someone we met today.
Yeah.
Now it's like, if I'm going to a bar, I better bring someone I trust. I mean,
I've got a little bit of my old silly stuff back. I mean, for me, it's I very seldom go out and do anything. So I'm one of those people where it's like the straight laced person, like, that just goes nuts.
Okay, so when you go big, you go big.
I go big when I go big, but I don't go big very often. So it's like, for me, I mean, obviously it depends on what's going on. If it's like just me and a bunch of adults, and it's not like a family thing, and it's like, like I can go pretty nuts, and it's sort of like I can because I'm so contained.
So are you, by going nuts, what's your, like, are you a drinker?
Oh yeah.
Can we talk about that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, because that's, like, I'm a social drinker.
Okay.
I'm not much of a drinker, but when I go out and I have fun,
yeah,
I love drinking, but I always regret it the next day. You know, especially the older we get.
See, I'm not quite at the place where I've gotten my share of hangovers, but I'm still pretty good about doing hangover control.
Wow.
I've never blacked out. For me, going nuts, it's usually just kind of like, oh, you're spending too much money. Drunk Nico is pretty, like, I don't give any shits. Like, it's but I'm kind of more like the, you turn the jovial side up.
Sure.
So it's sort of like we're gonna go we're gonna go crazy, but it's like some old timey, like, we're gonna put on, we're just going, paint the town red, but it's all in good fun.
Heck yeah.
For me, it's I can only drink certain things now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like that's one of the things that I noticed. Like, I can't, like, wine gives me a migraine. It's beer and whiskey now, and that's it.
Wow. Beer and whiskey. I like whiskey too. Yeah. Wow. So, but are you, like, not into the sugars in the drinks?
Sugary drinks, it all depends on what it is.
Fireball whiskey.
No.
Okay, because you said whiskey, and I had to ask.
No.
There's people that are just no way.
No fortified stuff.
Okay.
No fortified. Can't do it. No Kahlua. No Fireball. No flavored vodkas.
Wow.
No.
What kind of whiskey do you drink?
Normally, I drink Wild Turkey.
Oh, okay. So you drink strong.
It has to be strong. All the sugar's got to be out of there. It's the sugar that does it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like, rum, like I said, wine, even certain beers can kind of upset my stomach and give me a headache. So for me, it's like, like Wild Turkey is a typical go-to. If I'm feeling fancy, it might be like a Knob Creek, but Wild Turkey normally.
And I gotta ask, do you feel like you can tap into, let's say, your psychic ability more so sober or a little bit tipsy? Have you ever even tried?
I mean, I've played around when I was younger on it, but I'm definitely the sort of, like, we all need to be stone sober for this.
Sure.
I don't read cards drunk.
No.
No, I don't read cards drunk. I don't read for people that are drunk, that's actually a very big rule of mine.
That's
like
interesting.
when I'm doing parties.
Yeah.
My cousin's fiance had me doing a Halloween party last year. A lot of fun. There was a rule, you know, if you're going to get a reading, you know, I said we're going to do the readings at the beginning of the party before anyone gets too tipsy. Because it's really, really bad to open up your spiritual channels when you're imbibing alcohol, when you're drunk. You're opening up the door for spiritual attachments. You're opening up the door for unwanted energetic exchanges, cords getting attached, all kinds of things. And I've even like had people where I'm like, I'm not going to do a reading for you. You are visibly intoxicated.
Wow.
Visible drunkenness is an absolute no. I've had people that were clients of mine that have got readings while hammered drunk, and I'm like, and I'm like, you know what? I'm blacklisted.
Wow. So it's
serious to me.
So when you say bad energies,
yeah,
are we talking about spiritual energies?
Possibly, yes.
Okay. Can you have you ever had an instance where that's occurred, where a bad energy's come across you, or a reading, or maybe
yes,
whether it's with alcohol or not, it doesn't matter.
Yes, okay. I have, and without alcohol. Most of the time, people are not drinking when I'm doing readings, so sure. It's most of those experiences are related to sober people and sober reading. So there are a couple of instances where you might have some really bad juju come forward. The first one is what we were talking about before, where people tend to latch certain personality types that have a tendency to kind of focus and concentrate all of their thoughts, wants, needs, attentions, fears, hopes, and all the kind of stuff that they're carrying on the object of their attention. That's basically, that's going to jack up a reader. It's going to jack up a reading. And you can feel a lot of the stuff that person's going through, and you can have bad energetic exchanges. It'll just mess you both up.
Sure.
The other kind I've had has to do with maybe somebody doing it to them. So somebody concentrating on them while they're getting the reading. Wow. I can't tell you how many times I've had readings where it's like, I'll actually get an impression or get a message from somebody attached or latched onto the person I'm reading. You know, don't tell my daughter that. Don't tell my husband that. Shut the hell up. You know,
and
that
you can pick that up.
And I can pick that up.
Wow.
I can pick that up. And I'm like, this isn't an entity. This isn't a spirit. This is a person.
It's a direct. It's almost like a voodoo doll.
It's a direct line. Yeah. This is somebody. This is your leash.
Yeah.
Somebody's shouting down your leash at me.
Wow.
And that's some people do that. Some people will leash and latch on to tons of people at a time.
And it really messes up the flow of things.
Everybody. And you know what? And some people do it on accident. So not everybody who does it is a villain.
Sure.
Some people do it on accident. I've had people. I've told them like, hey, you're latching. I can feel you latching onto me.
Yeah.
And I called it out, and they go like,
wow.
You could tell. And I'm like, yeah, because some people at a very young age learn how to do this.
Yeah.
And I know what it looks like. And here's the thing. You could stay latched with somebody your entire life and go through everything they go through. You don't want that. You certainly don't want it latched to 30 people.
Right. No, that's wow.
You don't know what is going on. So it's very unsanitary.
Yeah.
But, and not safe. But the other... Sorry, I'm getting on my
oh, no.
I'm going in.
No, yeah, please do.
The other thing that can happen besides the latching is typically you won't get like a spirit or an entity. I've had people's relatives come visit before. Okay. Like, you know, I've somebody's grandfather or whatever, it's all good. That's not really scary. I run a pretty tight ship. The other danger are poltergeists. You know, there's a
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So poltergeists, thought forms.
Sure.
Not entities that are, and for those of you out there who don't know, there's a difference between a ghost and a poltergeist. So a poltergeist is actually a thought form, an entity or a spirit that's, it has in a sense a programming or an imperative or a personality, but it's not ensouled. Think of it more like a robot. An offshoot of a person or the psychokinetic energy of a space. Some people have a lot of poltergeists in their field. Some people make them themselves, right? If they create this thought form that's basically it's there, it's just doing its thing, but it's not a real soul. Sometimes they have them attached. So poltergeist attacks can happen a lot.
Wow. And how often does it occur in like your field?
Very seldom. Like, I mean, it's most of the time when I'm dealing with entities or any kind of psychic issues, it's coming from a person.
Okay.
It's not, it's got nothing, it's coming from a person or a person they're connected to. The spirits, like when you talk about ghosts or guides or anything like that, like they got better things to do. Poltergeists and thought forms are the rare exception. And that just kind of depends. That's just like, okay, are we just going to have that kind of day? Sometimes I can go months without having encountered anything like that at all. It's way more rare. Most of the time, it's people attached to people.
Yeah. What do you think, like spiritually, do you think or do you believe that, let's say a human spirit, is it confined or stuck on this planet?
No.
What do you think it's attached to, I guess, or is it attached to anything?
I think that when we talk about what makes us attached, I think we attach ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that we attach ourselves and we can detach ourselves if we want to when we are done with our life here. I don't think that the human spirit is bound to Earth. I like the Shinto the Shinto philosophy around this. There is a part of us that is always eternal and outside of ourselves, that is connected more to spirit than to earth. That energy that, in Western society we would call like aether.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is the aspect ourselves that we borrow from earth to be on earth.
Sure.
Right? It's like our bodies,
yep.
Our chi, our life force, because we've got all kinds of different energy in our energy fields. It's not just chi. And so there is the part of us that we give back to earth when we're done riding around. And then there's the part of us that is the eternal soul that is a part of the aethers. So I don't think we're attached. I think we kind of come together and then we just kind of go back.
Interesting. It's very interesting. Do you believe, and this is one I've had conflicts with my whole life, is what about things like reincarnation? Do you believe in reincarnation?
I do.
And well, that makes sense. Yeah,
I do.
Because some people, they attach it to like a certain religion, and and it's like, well, if you got to believe in the religion, I don't think you necessarily have to. Yeah. But the premise of it seems very likely with a spiritual journey, right? Like you have a chance at another shot at this. You know what I mean? Maybe obviously in a different body, a different life source. I don't know what it would be.
So when we have reincarnation, depending on, again, it's not just one religion. It's not just Hindu. It's not just Buddhism. It's not just any one path that talks about reincarnation or coming back. But I believe in reincarnation, but I kind of believe it again from more of a slightly different belief. Because, I mean, how do you have a spiritual conversation with somebody that may have reincarnated?
Right.
You can. But, again, going back to our oversoul discussion from before.
Right. Yeah.
So if I'm connected to an oversoul that's basically connected to my entire soul family of over 100,000 people, then everything that I'm going through is kind of getting logged in that library.
Sure.
So maybe Tesla was going to his library.
Right.
His oversoul. So all of that information, all of that experience goes up there. It's stored somewhere. If I die and get reincarnated, somebody who wanted to have a conversation with me or to connect with me psychically or through any other channel would be connecting with my oversoul, which the memory and the experience and the existence of Nico will always be. It exists there.
Is that something you can tap? Well, let's say you meet an oversoul. Are you able to tap all of those personalities, or is it whatever they want to give you?
That's where I would direct first.
Sure.
So another thing is when you're trying to connect to a spirit or you connect to anybody, you want to be clear on who you're trying to connect to first. Mm-hmm. That's the number one.
So you have to know what you're looking for.
You've got to know what you're looking for every single time. You have to know what you're looking for. Do not just wander haphazardly into this. You will get into trouble.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like with, so if somebody was like, I want to connect with Nico or whoever's soul, like say I was dead, they would have to really focus on me, be able to connect with me or be able to connect with the person's connection to me. That's also important. Some people need physical objects. They're like, oh, give me his glove.
Sure.
Give me grandpa's pocket watch, give me grandma's glasses, whatever. I don't need that.
Does it help to have that?
Not for me.
Not for you.
It's distracting to me.
Okay.
Some people it's really helpful. Some people it's distracting. For me, I'm like...
Would it help you, I guess, attach that person? Like, let's say they said, I only have this watch for my grandpa. That's all I know about him. Can you find what you need inside of that?
I would probably ask if they had a photograph instead.
Okay.
I'm better with photos.
And names?
Names are also good for me too.
Okay.
I just, yeah, for me, it's physical objects. Unfortunately, they carry more than just that energy.
Sure.
And so for me, it's like I'm not going to be able to, it's not that I can't decode or see the difference or find the energy I'm looking for. It's that
you're going to waste too much time doing it.
I waste too much time doing it and possibly pick up too much of what else is there. So for me, I'm like, a name and a photo, or just the name, or name and a birth date, that's fine.
Sets it apart.
Works just fine. But then I would go and, again, whether they reincarnate or not, doesn't matter.
Sure.
So it's like with Grandma May, it's like, she died a long time ago, so is she reincarnated yet? Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
If she felt like it.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting
visit. And if she did, then I could still talk to her, because Grandma May, the Grandma May that I know, and that part of her soul is still connected to her oversoul.
Yeah.
And so when I die, somebody could do that with me, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Do you think somebody could access Grandma May through like our lineage?
I think they could.
Yeah.
I think they absolutely could, because she wants to.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. She wants to.
Wow.
We are not spiritually or soul connected to all of our relatives.
Only the ones that want to be.
And only the ones that really are kind of part of it, like we are and we're not. And with her, we can, because I think that deep down she's genuinely invested.
Sure.
Because some people do that. They go like, look, before I reincarnate, I want to be kind of like a family ancestor.
Yeah.
Watching over for a minute. Now that minute might be a century or whatever. I'm down.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do that when they're kind of watching over the ones that they knew.
Yeah.
And then eventually a few generations go by and they're kind of like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's one of those ones that does that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So it's wild that, to wonder, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's exciting to think about what would it be like if we all did have another shot at life. Do you think someone that gets reincarnated is aware that they're even reincarnated? Like, I mean, if we were reincarnated, we would obviously have come from somewhere. Are you ever able to tap that at all yourself?
The earliest memory I have is a really weird one. So this might answer your question, or it might just be kind of
tougher.
Yeah. My earliest memory is something that I can't fully understand. I am in the dark, and there is a large white gold disc, like a platform in front of me. And there's a guy on my left, a guy on my right, and a guy in the middle. And then we all take turns stepping onto the platform. And then I'm back in my body.
That's interesting. That's one of your earliest memories.
That's the earliest memory.
The earliest memory. Wow. Yeah, it's like, what is that?
Is that my pre-life step into this world?
Right. That's the leap you took right to the planet Earth.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. Or is it a vague memory from some other experience?
Or another past life or something. I've had visions of past lives before. You might remember this. When I was a little kid, I was terrified of elephants. I don't know why. Elephants and the sound of elephants.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
It always freaked me out. I couldn't do elephants and I couldn't do popping balloons.
Wow. And what stemmed that?
Well, this was something that was kind of a guided experience. When I was about 26, 27. And there was this person doing a past life reading. I can do past life readings, but reading for yourself is not a good idea. But she was kind of figuring it out, and she was pulling all this stuff. She was like, yeah, you had a life in the Zulu Wars. I'm like, that makes sense.
And this is who is this doing the reading?
So this was a gal that actually lives in Seattle. I don't know if she still lives there. She doesn't have a YouTuber or anything like that. But she was this gal who lived out on Capitol Hill.
Wow.
And used to.
That's awesome. So she just was.
She was just kind of. She's like, I'm getting Zulu Wars, and she was talking about like elephants and sound of loud guns, and I'm like.
That's where it stems
Elephant sounds, elephants, and balloons.
So you probably got killed by an elephant.
Killed by an elephant. Shot while the elephant was on the road. I don't know.
It fell on you or something.
Crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
So, it was fascinating to kind of have that But I do believe in it. But
Yeah.
it was kind of weird because as she was talking about it, I also noticed I started to get really flushed. Like my body was having this full body, like not histamine reaction, but flushing reaction.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's right back.
Mm-hmm.
Is that was that trigger? You know, like not a PTSD, but kind of like, you know.
I don't know if it was. I wasn't. I would just say flustered.
Sure.
I would say probably flustered because it was like
more of a realization, maybe.
And I forgot all about all of that because I mean I eventually got out of elephants,
Sure.
like being a fear when I was a little older, but and cartoon elephants never bothered me. I liked Babar and all of that,
Yeah.
but it was just like real elephants and like I remember, you know, when we would go to the zoo, the Woodland Park Zoo, and it was always, why did we spend so much time at the elephant exhibit? Why did we stay there? Why was that the place where we parked for half an hour? It's just too much.
Yeah, no.